If I told you that a single number could change the way you sleep, the way you make decisions, and even the way you look at your financial future, would you believe it? The surprising thing is that this number is not $100,000 or $1 million. It is simply $10,000. While 40% of Americans cannot cover a $1,000 emergency, according to a Federal Reserve survey, a much smaller group has reached the $10,000 milestone and stepped into an entirely different financial reality. It is not a world of luxury. It is a world where your brain no longer reacts as if you are facing danger every time your car flashes a warning light or the bank sends a new bill. So what actually happens to your life when you build your first $10,000 in savings? In the next few minutes, you will understand why the $10,000 milestone creates such a profound shift in your psychology, your behavior, and your overall quality of life. This is not just a financial target. It is a turning point where you move from constant defense into a position of control over your money. I will show you the psychological mechanisms documented by the American Psychological Association, the financial behaviors reported across U.S. households, and the real examples that explain why so many people fall into chronic financial stress simply because they lack a basic buffer. By the end of this video, you will not only understand the meaning of this milestone, but also know how to use it as a foundation for long-term financial stability. This is the kind of knowledge schools never teach, yet every American household deserves to understand before thinking about investing or chasing bigger goals. For years, financial surveys in the United States have revealed a troubling trend. Federal Reserve data shows that nearly half of adults cannot cover a $1,000 emergency without borrowing or relying on credit. Bankrate finds that more than 63% of Americans live fully paycheck to paycheck, which means they have no meaningful financial cushion and remain in a continuous state of reacting to unexpected events. With the cost of living rising almost 4% annually, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, even a minor emergency can trigger a chain reaction that destabilizes a household for months. The reality becomes even clearer when you look at everyday American life. A person with steady income can still fall into stress from a single car repair because costs commonly range from $600 to $3,000 according to AAA. New graduates carry student debt averaging over $38,000 based on data from the Education Data Initiative, leaving them to calculate every small purchase while interest rates remain at decade highs. Even those with good jobs can feel financially fragile because medical bills can appear without warning, with the average emergency room visit costing more than $2,500 according to the Healthcare Cost Institute. Without meaningful savings, every life decision becomes a risk calculation. People avoid changing jobs because they fear losing income even for a few weeks. They stay in places that no longer serve them because moving requires upfront deposits and travel costs. They hesitate to invest in themselves because any money spent feels like money lost forever. This insecurity seeps into mental health, sleep quality, and relationships. Once you understand this environment, you can see why the $10,000 milestone is not just a number, but a doorway out of survival mode. Insight 1. Before you have $10,000 saved, every decision in your life is influenced by fear of risk. This happens because the human brain reacts intensely to financial insecurity and creates a background level of stress that distorts decision-making. You are not bad with money. You are simply making choices in a defensive state where the priority is avoiding pain, not creating progress. Studies from the American Psychological Association show that ongoing financial uncertainty increases cortisol levels and reduces clear reasoning. This is why even small expenses like car repairs or medical bills feel overwhelming. AAA data shows an average repair ranging from $600 to $3,000, a number capable of destroying the budget of a household with no savings. The $10,000 milestone becomes a psychological shield that moves you out of reactive thinking. The key action for you is to begin building your safety fund consistently and treat it as a tool to neutralize fear rather than a test of discipline. Insight 2, once you reach $10,000, you gain the ability to separate emotions from daily money decisions. Without savings, you evaluate every purchase through stress, which leads to poor outcomes. Scarcity mindset research from Princeton University shows that financial pressure narrows cognitive capacity, reducing long-term planning abilities. With 60% of Americans lacking any emergency buffer, many abandon beneficial opportunities because they cannot endure short-term pressure. After reaching $10,000, small purchasing decisions no longer threaten your stability. This frees mental energy to focus on career moves, skill building, or financial planning. The key action here is to treat your emergency fund as protection for your mental clarity. When you stop burning your cognitive power on minor expenses, your big decisions become far more effective. Insight 3. Your bargaining power in the job market changes dramatically after you save $10,000. Before this milestone, financial pressure forces you to accept any job because you cannot afford a gap in income. According to Gallup, more than half of American workers accept lower pay than they deserve because they cannot risk waiting for something better. ADP data shows that job changers typically see income increases of 6 to 10%, yet many never switch because they lack a financial buffer. With $10,000 saved, you approach negotiations with confidence. You are no longer desperate. You can decline poor offers and pursue positions aligned with your value. This creates a positive cycle because higher income strengthens your savings and stability. Your action step is to build your financial cushion first so you can negotiate from strength instead of fear. Insight 4. Saving $10,000 helps you escape the emergency cost trap, the biggest driver of credit card debt in the United States. Emergencies do not hurt finances only because of the expense itself, but because people without savings must use credit cards with interest rates over 20% according to the Federal Reserve. Medical emergencies average more than $2,500, and major car repairs often exceed $2,000. Without savings, you not only pay the bill, but also months or years of interest. With $10,000, you absorb the cost without creating a second financial wound. Your action step is to prioritize your emergency fund before any investment. Protecting yourself from high-interest debt is the foundation of long-term wealth building. Insight 5. After reaching $10,000, the structure of your mental energy changes entirely. Before that, you spend enormous cognitive effort on small financial decisions. Neuroscience research on decision fatigue shows that people under chronic financial stress experience reduced decision quality as the day progresses. With a savings buffer, you no longer need to analyze every grocery purchase, phone repair, or minor bill as a potential threat. This frees significant mental bandwidth to think about strategy, career growth, and long-term planning. The Money and Mental Health Policy Institute reports that individuals with financial stability show nearly 30% lower levels of mental stress. Your action step is to see saving as an investment in cognitive performance. When you stop draining your energy on survival decisions, you begin building a more intentional future. Insight 6. The most profound shift after saving $10,000 is how you view opportunity. Before the milestone, you evaluate everything through cost. After the milestone, you evaluate through potential return. Behavioral economics shows that people in financial insecurity avoid opportunities because fear of loss outweighs the hope of gain. With savings, you have both the means and the emotional stability to invest in yourself. Georgetown University reports that professional certifications can raise income by 5 to 15%, yet they often cost $1,000 to $2,000 upfront. Without savings, those opportunities remain out of reach. With $10,000, you can finally pursue them with confidence. Your action step is to use your first savings milestone as a launch pad for growth. When you are no longer trapped in cost-based thinking, your future expands. Now that you understand the 6 major shifts that happen once you reach $10,000, there is something deeper that most people overlook. These benefits are only the surface. The real transformation lies in the restructuring of your financial belief system. You begin to see that money is not a series of unpredictable events, but a pattern of behaviors you can intentionally design and influence. This is where the divide appears between those who remain financially anxious and those who build stability year after year. At this boundary, a new perspective emerges, showing you why some people progress steadily while others remain stuck even with similar incomes. The $10,000 milestone does not simply change what you do with money. It changes how your brain interprets the entire financial world. Without savings, your mind operates in loss avoidance mode, prioritizing immediate relief over long-term benefit. Daniel Kahneman's research explains that humans fear loss more strongly than they desire gain. But after building a financial buffer, your sensitivity to loss decreases because your brain no longer views money as a fragile resource. Instead of reacting, you begin evaluating. Instead of fearing risk, you assess it calmly. This restored cognitive capacity affects every part of life. Pew Research Center findings show that individuals with at least several months of expenses saved perform better professionally, not because they are smarter, but because they are less mentally burdened. They have more attention for strategy, relationships, and growth. You also form a new financial identity. Before savings, you may have seen yourself as someone always trying to catch up. After savings, you begin to believe you are capable of stability and discipline. Fidelity Investments research shows that people who adopt this identity invest more consistently and plan more effectively. The deepest insight is this: $10,000 is not merely money. It is evidence that you can change your financial position through deliberate behavior. And once you truly understand that, wealth building stops being a dream and becomes a repeatable process. Before we close, remember the 3 core ideas. First, the psychological shift. Savings reduce fear, driven reactions, and restore clear thinking. Second, the behavioral shift. With emergencies no longer threatening your stability, you make stronger choices in your career, investments, and personal growth. Third, the identity shift. You stop seeing yourself as financially vulnerable and start seeing yourself as someone capable of building long-term stability. These 3 forces work together to make $10,000 the gateway to a more intentional and more resilient financial life. If there is one message you should carry forward, it is that financial transformation does not begin with how much you earn. It begins with how much you keep and who you become in the process. The $10,000 milestone is not proof of wealth. It is proof of discipline. It is proof of clarity. It is proof that stability is possible. The moment you realize that you can create security that once felt out of reach is the moment you step into a new level of financial awareness. From that point on, your decisions come from confidence, not fear. If this breakdown gave you a clearer understanding of how foundational savings shape your future, I invite you to stay with me for upcoming videos. Everything I share is designed to help you understand money psychology, practical financial strategies, and the path to long-term stability in a constantly shifting economy. If you found this video helpful, consider sharing it with someone who might need it. A single insight at the right time can change the way someone views their future. And if there is a topic you want me to dive deeper into, you can leave a comment so I know what matters most to you. Thank you for staying until the end. Your willingness to spend time understanding your financial foundation shows that you are serious about building a better future. No matter where you stand today, remember that every strong financial journey begins with small, consistent steps, and the $10,000 milestone is one of the most transformative steps of all. I hope these insights have given you clarity and motivation to keep moving forward with confidence and purpose. I look forward to seeing you in the next video where we will continue unlocking the strategies and perspectives that help you take control of your financial life.